let's stop pretending that food freedom looks one way. In fact, let's actually stop avoiding the fact that food freedom even exists because it blimmin' well does. And we're
Hmm.
here to talk about how it looks differently for me and Abby.
Yeah. I mean, we are.
Welcome to our podcast, Fuck the Diet Cycle, with myself, Lauren Knight, and Abby Lodge. This is for you if you want to cut through the diet industry bullshit and finally end that cycle. Grab yourself a cuppa, get comfy, and let's dive straight in, shall we?
We are very similar in very many ways, but when it comes to food freedom, we are totally bloody different, and it looks different to each other. I can't cook. I am terrible in the kitchen. I am getting better, might I add. However, Lauren likes to cook a lot from scratch, and she's very good at cooking, and she's very good at throwing things together and making it look presentable and it being nutritious. I am just absolutely bloody useless. But that does not mean that my food freedom is any less limited or more limited or any different to Lauren's version of Free Freedom. You need to feel like, so when I first started my weight loss journey, I felt like food freedom looked like cooking every day, spending hours in the kitchen, cooking from scratch, being so consumed by your kitchen. And that used to really, really scare me until I realized I'm different. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that for me, and it doesn't have to be like that for anybody. You need to choose how it works for you and your life and your family and things like that. Don't just look at loads of external influences that are, you know, some people grow veg in their garden. Some people have an allotment. Some people go to the supermarket. Some people go to the greengrocers. Do they even exist anymore? Anyway, but and it looks different on body. And accepting that your way of doing food freedom and your foods that you enjoy, your foods that you know may trigger you, your foods that you know they're a non-negotiable you're having is different for everybody. We are not the same.
But we all get to be empowered by food freedom, and it really does exist. And food freedom means that you get to enjoy food completely guilt free, without losing control, without regaining your weight, but also without feeling restricted and like you need to eat like a rabbit for the rest of your life because you don't. And Abby is right. She is so right. I really enjoy cooking. I don't enjoy long cooking in terms of like I wouldn't spend hours in the kitchen to make a dish, but I do enjoy cooking from scratch, getting the kids involved, making new things and adapting it so it works for our family. But I've always enjoyed cooking. And I know that Abby, when she was a simmer of mine, that would have sent her running for the hills. So we had to adapt to other things that worked for her. And that's fine. And also knowing about yourself, which Abby just touched base on, like where do your hormones sit in the month? Because actually, somebody that's going through perimenopause, the way that they eat and maintain and live food freedom is going to be different from somebody that's not had children at the beginning of their cycle, well, not right at the beginning, not teenage age, but young 20s. The way that they eat is going to be very different, and that's okay. It's still food freedom, and it's really important that you learn to flex that and know that as you go through the years, that also changes. So, what I did 8 years ago for food freedom was very structured.
Mhm.
I still made sure that I weighed everything out, everything had its own compartments, and I kind of had a 3 week plan that I would rotate, and I wouldn't really navigate away from that because I wanted to make sure that I really got my head around it. Now, I absolutely can trial new recipes. I don't stick to like a 3 week plan. I will literally do a week at a time. I can change it up depending on seasons. I get excited about food again. Don't always have to weigh unless it's a new recipe, and obviously then I will follow it. But it looks different. I trust myself now.
Yes, that's
And
the
I've
difference.
adapted over the years, and it's going to change for me again when I go into perimenopause. Best believe I'm fully equipped after creating the menopause ebook. Just a little plug there. If you want it, let us
Yeah.
know. We'll send it to you. But we are well equipped now, and we know that we're going to have to adapt again. And that's something that we'll take on.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is about being flexible within yourself to be able to trust yourself and know that things how you ate like Lauren 8 years ago is gonna be totally different now. And that doesn't mean that she's got any better or got any worse or anything like that. It's just life changes, your body changes, everything changes. And while we're on that subject, it's really important that when you do get to your goal weight, that you don't just set it at X amount, because especially as females, we are never, ever, ever going to be the same weight every day for the rest of our life. And if you have that much of a rigid goal in place, you are going to feel like you failed all the time. So that's why we advise our clients who are going on their journey, getting closer to goal, let's set a 7 pound buffer, generally with your ideal weight in the middle, but then you can go kind of up or down 3 pounds either side, whatever, so that you know that if you are within that scale, if you're within that buffer, you're doing fine. You're doing absolutely fine. But if you're starting to creep towards the top of that buffer end, then you need to start having a look back. You know, things do slip. Things can slip quite easily. Habits come in, things like that. But actually having the chance to have a look and evaluate what's been going on in your life recently. It might just be that you've been on 7 holidays in the past 4 months or something like that, and it's just crept up, away a little bit, and then you can just rein it back in. But when I say rein it back in, I do not mean you go back on a diet, inverted things, or you restrict yourself, or you do anything fucking silly, crazy, chop an arm off. You don't need to do any of that. You literally just reevaluate what's been going on in your life, what's slipped. I can guarantee the first thing that is going to slip for all of you is your water. So water is going to be where you first thing. Am I still drinking my water? Am I still getting my water in? If I'm not, no. Okay, fine. Let's start to work on that again. Have I been as active lately as what I usually am? You know, it might be that you're due to injury or things like that, and you can't be as active. Okay, so then where can I make changes within my everyday life to help support that? And it might be that you've fallen into the trap of every Wednesday on the way home from whatever, you grab a fish and chips. And that's not to say you can't have a fish and chips every now and again, but having it every single week, is it doing you any good? No, probably not. So let's only have it like once a month and things like that. Having a look and being flexible is absolutely key, because we have to be flexible in so many other aspects and areas of our life, that when it comes to weight loss, because of diet culture, it's always been such a rigid framework that there's no room for flexibility. That's why we do things differently around here. We have room for flexibility. We are flexible. We understand that life happens, things change, seasons change, and that is why it is so, so important to have this buffer.
Yeah, and you know the saying, comparison is the thief of joy. So, don't compare yourself to the next person. So, if you've ever thought that you're doing it wrong, you're absolutely not. And you're just not doing it like her or him or us. And that's absolutely okay, because that's the point. It's finding food freedom that works sustainably for you. Thank you for listening. If you loved it, don't forget to press that subscribe button and the little bell so that you never miss a future episode. We will be back here with a new one on Sunday at 7 a.m. We'll see you there.